What's going on, guys? Jordan Shallow here at Iron Culture Gym in Cedar Knolls, New Jersey. We're going to go over 5 big accessory movements to help build the strength in your deadlift. So first one we're going to talk about is going to be a deficit deadlift. So what we're going to do is we're going to stand on a 3 to 4 inch mat and go through the conventional deadlift. Now this obviously makes the lift harder by creating more distance in the movement. If we're used to pulling off the floor, when we stand on that deficit, that bar is going to have to travel a little bit further. Now, in actuality, the deficit deadlift actually helps build the lockout. So if you're struggling finishing your deadlifts, I would implement a deficit deadlift to help complete the rep at heavier weights. So with that in mind, we're gonna use the deficit deadlift to help improve our strength at the lockout of the lift. So setting up on a 3-inch mat, set up as you would with your normal kind of conventional stance, feet shoulder width apart. We're gonna grab either double over under grip, whatever you prefer. We're gonna try and keep that back straight off the floor as we leg drive, pulling slack out of the bar to complete the rep. All right, guys, so second movement we're gonna go through in building strength in the deadlift is gonna be blocked deadlifts. Now, we can do this from varying heights. I prefer, for my height and my leverage, is a 4-inch block. So that's gonna leave the bar just below the knee, about high to mid shin. This is gonna better help improve our starting position off the floor when we can use that elastic tension in accordance with building this active tension by pulling off blocks. So making sure that we're in a really tight position, that our lats are packed, our shoulder blades are in our back pocket, and we're just gonna leg drive into heavier loads at a shorter distance. Block deadlift is something that can be used to overload the deadlift, but also help create mechanical tension and also increase our ability to pull heavier weights off the floor. So moving into our third deadlift accessory, we're gonna go through what's called the safety squat bar good morning. Now, safety squat bar good morning is essentially just gonna be a good morning with a special apparatus of the safety squat bar. And this is gonna allow us to load a little bit more flexion through our upper back, which is gonna help us when the weights get super heavy in the deadlift. So walking out kind of as you would from a squat position, we're gonna assume the same foot width as your deadlift, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna sort of turn this into a hinging movement or a Romanian deadlift. So the upper body stays tucked down, rib cage stays depressed. We're gonna pull the handles into us as we shoot our hips back and drive our knees out slightly. This is gonna load up our hamstrings, our glutes, and then a muscle group called your erectors through your spine. So kind of keeping a neutral chin, hinge back until our chest is about parallel to the floor, making sure our heels keep in contact with the floor as we then use our hamstring, glutes, and erectors to return to the starting position. So this is a movement that you're gonna wanna load light and be very careful with, especially the stability through your lower back. So you wanna stay core tight, making sure we're breathing at the beginning of every rep. And we're just gonna go through this hinging pattern with the safety squat bar. All right, so our next movement to help build the strength in the deadlift is gonna be one specifically for the lats. Now, the lats are really important in the deadlift because it's the one muscle group that connects our arm to our spine. So it makes it a little bit different in bigger movements like the squat or the bench press. We're gonna be loading that weight off the floor through our hands. So the lats become an integral part of stabilizing the movement and also keeping our low back in a safe position. So the dumbbell pullover is something we're gonna do over a bench. So we're gonna set up kind of the highest point of the curve of our upper back right on the bench press, perpendicular to the plane of the bench, grabbing the dumbbell, making sure we're trying to keep our elbows tucked in. A lot of people will flare the elbows out as they do a pullover. That changes the intent of the muscle group. So elbows flared out, it's gonna be more of a pec movement. Elbows tucked in, that's gonna be more of a lat movement. All right, so the last movement we're gonna go through to build strength in the deadlift is gonna be what's called the Romanian deadlift. Now, this is a little bit different than a stiff leg deadlift. The Romanian deadlift is actually gonna have a soft bend in the knee that we're gonna maintain throughout the entire duration of the movement. So we're not gonna have the knees locked. We're gonna start off with a slight bend in the knee, feet about shoulder width apart. We're gonna make sure we keep those lats tight, so elbows tucked in, pulling the bar close to us, and we begin to hinge at the hip. So slowly thinking of taking your chin and your sacrum, or your chin and your tailbone, and getting them as far apart from one another as possible. So creating length in the hamstrings from their insertion on the pelvis. We're gonna slowly start to tilt that pelvis back as we maintain that sort of soft bend in the knee the entire time. So quick recap, we went through dumbbell pullovers, deficit deadlift, deadlift from blocks, safety squat bar good mornings, and barbell Romanian deadlifts. All great exercises to help build the strength in your deadlift off the floor. So I'm Jordan Shallow with Muscle and Fitness out here at Iron Culture Gym in Cedar Knolls, New Jersey, and we'll see you next time.